mushrooms, try them sometime, don't do them all the time. And, as always, have a nice day. Okay, so, me and my buddy, we decided one night, hey, you know, I brought some mushrooms home, okay, and you know, they're from, I'm a co-worker, I'll be blunt with you, a co-worker, okay, he said, hey, take this, you're gonna have a good time. I said, you know what, let's give it a shot, why not, why the fuck not, you know, I like to experiment, who doesn't like to experiment, well, to a point, I suppose, but, so we got, you know, that aside, we got some fucking mushrooms. Some magical ones. I'm not gonna, you know, we're not eating a fucking pizza here. What the fuck, you on drugs? No, I was on drugs. Okay, you know, we're gonna drop some fucking mushrooms. We made some tea, had some tea, ate some mushrooms. We did it, but yeah, we did it all. We started tripping the fuck out. Well, let me take you back a couple, you know, maybe an hour or so. So we start walking, right? We drop these things. We start walking. Nothing's happening. You know, we're all wondering, like, you know, well, maybe we should go back and, you know, drop some more. Well, you know, we were smart enough to say, well, hold on, we'll just keep going a little bit longer, see what happens. And sure as shit, we end up sitting on the side of a fucking freeway. Cars whizzing by, honking at us, flashing their lights and shit. We don't know what the fuck's going on. But we start laughing and fucking, sure as shit, you know, like, these things start kicking in. So we continued on, you know, luckily the cops didn't show up. I mean, that would have been a pretty bad scene, but we kept going. We ended up in this fucking forest, and there was fucking, like, well, we said there was smoke everywhere. It was really fog now that I look back on it, but my goodness, was it a fucking trip, man. We thought the forest was on fire. There was, you know, we said, like, man, there's smoke everywhere. All right, should we be fucking getting the hell out of here? But we were so fucking high, we just didn't care. We just sat down and started laughing and shooting the shit. I had a fucking glow stick in my hand. I mean, what the fuck was I thinking? A fucking glow stick. Like a fucking glow stick. Really. You know, my buddy kept asking me, so when are you breaking out into dance? I'm like, I'm not here to dance. But a fucking glow stick. I even look back on it and say, what the fuck? You know, this isn't a rave. This is a fucking mushroom trip. A fucking glow stick. Anyways, we kept going. Alright, we kept fucking going. And the smoke, the fog was still around us. We were only like, what is this, fire following us or something? We ended up in a fucking soccer field of all places, wondering, we literally wondered where the fuck we were. But we kept going. We kept, you know, we didn't have a soccer ball, so we didn't stick around long. But we jumped a fence. Ended up in some fucking acreage, some farmer's field or something. We saw a no trespassing or you will be shot sign and decided we might as well, you know, turn the other way. And then next thing you know, we were in a construction field. Of all fucking places, a construction field. You know, we're sitting there fucking around on a bulldozer wondering, like, you know, like, can we drive this thing? No, there's no keys and the fucking, you know, it's kind of like blocking the entrance to the entire yard. We didn't know what the fuck. So we said, okay, we just kept going. Kept on going. Wondering what the fuck is going on. You know, like, where the fuck are we was the initial question that we asked. We said, okay, do you know where we are? I said, fuck, I don't know where the fuck we are. You know, like, I know we came from this area, but I don't know where this area is. We were completely lost. And then we started, like, tripping out on, like, wild animals and shit, saying, like, you know, well, maybe there's going to be, like, a pack of fucking wolves come up and fucking attack us and shit. You know, buddy started looking for a joint. He said, look, man, I got a joint. We're going to calm down. He couldn't find it. That made us even more anxious. We were even more freaked. We didn't know what to do. We ended up popping out in, like, a shopping district, okay? There was, like, a fucking Shoppers Drug Mart there, a fucking Scotia Bank off in the distance, and we didn't know what the fuck to think. But we ended up seeing a road sign, which is miraculous, because this smoke was still surrounding us. In the fog, and smoke, whatever you want to call it. And basically, you know, we said, okay, well, I kind of know this road, but, like, I don't know this area of it, but I know the number, so we started walking up that number, okay? Walking up the road, which is a number, which is a road. And we ended up in an area we recognized. And, you know, long story short, we were tripping the fuck out on mushrooms, all lost in a bunch of fog, and somehow made it back home. Mr. X got to his house, and then he said, hey, man, you know, like, you're fucking tripping, you should pass out on the couch or something. I said, no, man, I'm going to keep going. What I did was, well, you know, he went back to his house, he passed out, that's all good. I kept going. Next thing you know, I'm looking for fucking signs to pick up, these road signs that are reflecting the cheese, right? And on my way home, and I'm talking like, we're talking like fucking a couple kilometers, I'm walking home, and next thing you know, I found a detour sign and a no parking sign that I decided to pick them up and bring them with me. To this day, I still have them. They are now proudly owned by me because they were, you know, you don't just, you know, finders keepers. I mean, the asshole that left them out there, well, he deserved to have them.
Yeah. Was that the city now?
I pay taxes. I pay taxes. The audience. You know, as far as I'm concerned, it's entitled to me. Okay, and so I got, well, actually, here's an interesting point. I started crossing one of the busy streets on the way home. I crossed this one house, and all of a sudden I see this flash come at me, a flash. So I stopped, and I turned, and I took a couple steps back, and then it flashed again. I was like, well, that's a fucking camera mounted to the side of this guy's house. And I almost wanted to kick the door down and get the film, you know? I was like, he sees me with these fucking signs. That's incriminating evidence.
Well, wait, from a private property?
Private property. Jeez. But then I thought, you know, as much as someone kick his fucking door in, I'm on a public road.
Yeah.
And he has every right to do that. So I kept going. I said, well, hopefully, you know, I don't end up on the news. If I end up on the news, I know where he lives, and I have to go back and, you know.
But they have you on the news, and that guy, like, probably posted that stuff to the news. So, like, if you mess up that guy, you'll be...
I just have to show up if the cameras aren't around. Or show up, you know, threaten. If that didn't work, burn. If that didn't work, then go to Mexico. Now, I got home that night. I passed out. I got home. I was really fucking high. I passed out and said, that's that. End of the story.